Welcome to the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast. Let's start the show. Here are your hosts, Wes Ford and Zach Harris.
I'm Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
We rant about movies and drink while we do it. On this episode, we'll be discussing what we've been watching, followed by a review of the new film in the Conjuring universe, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Now streaming on HBO Max and playing in theaters. Tonight, we are drinking... Well, Zach, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Dovetail Brewery, Hell's Lager. What's that?
The Helles, I think it's called. Yeah, Helles Lager.
Helles Lager, yeah, it's a Chicago brewery. I had never tried any of their stuff.
Nice. Cool. You got local? I also bought local. I got, never tried this one before, but Cigar City's Fancy Papers.
Nice. That's a hazy, right?
It's their hazy. I've never tried their hazy.
Ooh,
and I love them hazies.
Hazy baby.
I love them hazy babies. So, yeah, let's give it a little sip then. Cheers.
Sip on.
Actually, just finished off the one that I was drinking before we got on.
Nice. You're a fan?
Yeah, it's really good. Describes it better here on the can. It says, with notes of mango and tangerine, this juicy IPA was developed with the same kind of craftsmanship and artistry that can be found in labels printed on fancy papers and applied to the lids of cigar boxes on yesteryear. Yeah, I definitely get the mango taste. It's really nice.
Nice. Baby loves a mango.
Yeah, mango and tangerine. Real juicy, real smooth, tasty, and a nice 6.7%.
Nice. Strong baby.
Yeah. Not super strong, but stronger, you know.
Yeah, this one's only 4.4. Easy going.
Well, it's a
nice,
Helles.
though.
Usually those are pretty...
Yeah, pretty light.
Yeah.
I'm in the summer beer mode. I've also been doing a lot of drinking, so...
Oh, yeah? Yeah. I've actually gone the opposite way recently.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to drink some beers tonight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, before we discuss what we've been watching, Ronnie?
This podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Choose from 180,000 titles from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now back to you, Wes.
If you like what you hear on this episode, remember you can find other episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and most major podcast platforms. All right, let's get into it. We're going to be talking about what we've been watching since our last episode. Zach, you want to go ahead and kick it off?
Well, the main thing that I've been watching is probably 3 to 4 whole seasons of ER.
Continuing the ER streak, baby.
Yeah. We were going out of town. I was watching it with my girlfriend. We were going out of town. So it was like, she's going to be gone for a month. It was like, we got to finish this. It's going downhill. We got to get this done so we don't wait a month to watch the last season, which isn't very good. So did a lot of ER slamming, and I'm glad I did because it wasn't very good.
Really?
The last few seasons, I mean, they have their moments. They're fun. They're good enough if you watch the rest of the show.
It's going downhill, though.
Yeah, like, everyone's gone. There's literally, like, no one from the original cast on the show anymore.
Damn. Well, that's a long time, though. You know, that's a lot of seasons.
A lot of seasons. And, like, I don't know if I talked about the Grey's Anatomy factor last time, but...
You did. You did.
It picks up very heavily, the last, like, 3 seasons or so. And it's just all relationship drama. There's, like, very little drama coming from the actual, like, surgeries that are going on. And when they are kind of debating in the, like, trauma rooms, it's all about, like, who's got the authority, and it's just like, I disagree with your treatment. You know what I mean? It's not like we have to do a crazy surgery that's really hard. You know what I mean? Which is kind of what the original one's based on. A lot of pop music. It's kind of lame.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I mean, it was fun. The ending was actually pretty satisfying. I did like the ending of the show, especially the final shot. And
well, that's good.
Yeah, so it had ended well. It had a good finale. They definitely brought back a lot of characters, like very fan servicey, but like, you know, I've watched 15 fucking seasons of this thing. Give me a little fan service. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's to be expected. At least you
get exactly.
You just want a good, a decent ending at least for a show. It's so rare. Most
it
shows,
really is, and I did like it. It was a good ending. It was a good finale episode, but the rest of the last season was not very good.
Well, you did it, man. You finished it.
Yeah.
You watched the show.
331 episodes in 155 days. I looked up when we started it.
Each one's an hour?
Yeah, like 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, it's not too bad. It's like 2.5 a night. You know what I mean? Which is about on point. I wasn't doing anything else. It was usually like watch a flick, and then it's like ER. It's like get in at least 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Binging shows is fun sometimes.
It really is.
Yeah. Cool, man. That's good to hear. So, finish ER, and overall, you enjoyed the show.
Great show.
You're a fan.
The peak is like season, I would say probably like season 5 to 9 or so is like the big peak, where like season 8, 9, 10, actually probably till 10 are all really good, which I wasn't expecting. I was kind of expecting it to start off really strong and kind of diminish, but it definitely like hits a stride in that like midpoint. Like 6 through 9 are really cherry.
That's great.
So it's like, it's still worth, there's a lot of shit that's good. You know what I mean? It only gets bad in like the last like quarter or whatever.
That's bound to happen with most shows.
Yeah.
You know, it's totally to be expected.
Especially when they're like, they swapped out the entire cast for the show. It's like, yeah, it's going to be different. John Stamos is on it now. You know what I mean?
All right. Interesting. Okay.
But yeah. You should watch it. You should.
Oh my God. It's such an undertaking.
Well, you don't have to watch it feverishly. You can be casual with it, you know?
I'm definitely, I'll say I'm more interested in it now because of your stance on it and your opinion of it, because I don't think I ever would have given it the light of day otherwise. Because I had the same opinion as you did going in. I was just sort of like, whatever. Yeah. But I'm definitely interested. It piqued my interest. So if I ever come across it, you know, is it streaming anywhere?
It's on Hulu.
Oh, interesting.
That's how I watched it. Although I was pretty tempted to get, I found a nice eBay bundle of the first 5 seasons on Laserdisc right when we started. Ooh, should I buy it?
God damn it.
It was
Laserdisc.
It was too big. It was like, seriously, each one are like 2 inches wide, and it's like, oh my God, like it's like a whole record shelf of just ER. I was like, I don't have room for that.
That's so funny. All right, cool. Well, that's ER. Zach finished the whole show in rapid time. And,
getting to work, baby.
Gets the award for, I don't know, fastest ER viewing or something.
Yeah, ER marathon.
Yeah. So something I've watched. Well, let's see. Which one should I talk about? Well, I think I want to dive right into one that's just like been dominating my mind, like my headspace since I watched it. Bo Burnham's Inside.
Yeah.
Did you check this out?
I did. I watched it like just a little bit ago.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I watched this on May 30th. So it was like a week or so ago. And, dude, I was sort of blown away by this. I don't know. It's, I I thought it was a fantastic. It was a very good mixture of art. You know, it was a performance, like art performance, mixed with stand up comedy, mixed with a documentary, and I've never really seen anything like it. And it was so well done too. Like the fact that Bo Burnham spent the most of the pandemic, spent a year, basically a lot of his time in this room shooting this by himself, got all this gear, and shot something really beautiful, and create, obviously, and then all the work of writing the songs, recording the songs, the production value of the songs was amazing, and editing this together, directing, shooting it, and into this really interesting, I guess, sort of a film, I would consider it. And the songs are very catchy. It's very funny. It sort of bounces between hilarious and very depressing, and it almost disturbingly so. And I think that's part of I think that's part of an act, but it's so well performed. It's just really interesting. I've actually been a fan of Bo Burnham for a while, and I like to see that his work is maturing in a way.
Yeah, totally.
You know, he went from, I mean, his stand-up's always been funny to me, but he's went from that to shooting and directing Eighth Grade, which was a pretty good movie.
Great.
It's a great movie.
Like that movie.
Yeah. And then he kind of went back to, he wanted to perform again, as he talks about in the special, and then the pandemic happened, so he made this thing. And I don't know, I think it was just really well done. What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. I did think it was a little more hit or miss. It was long, but also not. I think it mainly, like, there's the distinct intermission, and I think it lost me just a little bit after that. But
that's fair.
I don't know. I feel weird about it because I really appreciate it. It's like a cool thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, make this thing alone in your house. And I liked seeing the sort of like way, like a lot of the numbers that he does, you can see what he's doing. Like there's one where you can see that he's like hitting foot switches that change the lighting setups and stuff.
Yeah. And
I liked being able to like see that, like not hiding those things or like him putting lights behind his back and stuff.
Yeah.
But I personally wasn't crazy about the more like documentary stuff in it. Like I thought that he was pretty poignant with the like bits that he would make, and some of them were like really thought out. Yeah. And some of the transitions were also really thought out in an interesting way. And then sometimes it would just like cut to stuff. You know what I mean? Where it felt like I would have maybe enjoyed it being a little more cohesive, but I also get that maybe part of it is that you're charting it through linearly as he's making it. So it is kind of reflecting like the state of things. You know what I mean? So I do get that parallel, but also if it's like a movie, I felt like it maybe... Because I feel like the first half is very much like bit.
Yeah, it starts out like strong with the bits, yeah.
Yeah, and then they become a lot more scarce in the second half, which isn't a bad thing, but I would have liked to maybe see some like evening out of the pace, maybe, is my biggest thing. But I did think it was really good, and it's also like, I don't know, maybe I'm being harsh on this thing. It's this thing this guy made alone in his house, and it was really funny. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the bits were really funny.
Songs are really catchy.
They were very well written.
I've actually gone back a few times and just like skipped on the Netflix, on my browser, on my computer, just like skip ahead to like a song because I wanted to listen to it again or something.
Yeah, totally.
And like my wife and I have actually been like singing the songs like periodically since, like we find ourselves like singing them, like parts of the chorus.
They're very catchy. I especially liked the one just it sounds generic. There a lot of them are about the internet, but this one specifically about the internet in the second half that's like very circusy sounding.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of that one. That was probably my favorite song.
That was a good one. And his lyrics are very interesting too. Like they're funny, but he's an intelligent guy,
Totally.
He's a really intelligent guy. And he has a grasp on the world, and I don't know. He's an interesting artist because he's like he does break away from the stand up, and he's more of a performer. But he definitely rides that line of being a comedian, but he's like, I don't know, I feel like he's transforming a bit, and
definitely.
It's a medium space that's like not like well traversed. I think that's interesting.
Totally.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just really impressed. I think the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
But yeah, I don't know. So far, that's my like favorite piece of like 2021 stuff. Like I just I've been hooked on it. I think it's been great. It makes you feel uncomfortable, but I think that's the point. And
totally.
like I said, like it grew on me too. It's like it wasn't like right when I hung up, I was like as on it as I am now. I think I had to let it sort of fester in my mind. Yeah, I definitely, when I ended, I really liked it and I had a good time, and my wife and I cracked up throughout the whole thing. But I think it was like afterwards I was just like thinking about how much thought went into everything. It's like really cool, and the shots, man. I mean, I'm impressed with just like the lighting and just the production value. That like to do that by yourself, it's like that shit takes time, man.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the lighting. I thought he got really creative because it didn't look like he had a crazy setup or anything. And like I was saying, like the foot switches or like there's one where every time there's like a symbol with a ton of reverb hits, he's holding a light behind his back and he flashes it really quick.
Yeah.
And just really simple like performance based things like that he incorporated into the visuals were really cool. And like the projectors and stuff had some,
the projectors are great.
Cool moments and like
it's good stuff.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. I'm interested that it wasn't like, I mean, I guess it was he set out to make a special, but it does seem like he could have just like released those as he made them. You know what I mean? Because there were so many bits.
Yeah,
but
I think also, he set out to like he wanted to like make a, like they make a set. So I think he was trying to like make a set, and it evolved as he went on. And I don't know. I think that he intended to like just make like a comedy set, but it turned into something different.
Totally, because I'm not sure. There's definitely seems like in the beginning there's some switching back and forth where he looks like it's from later or
Yeah.
But it definitely seems like it was like made in sequence. You know what I mean?
For the most part, it seemed like it was mostly in sequence, which was really interesting.
So, I get, it's like, I think, I get that how it evolves and, like, new ideas come and, like, things morph, and so it's, like, it's changing, but I felt like I guess maybe I could have used a little more of that in the beginning or a little less of that at the end to just make it more consistent, is my main thing. But I don't know. I still really liked it. I'm not trying to be like harsh on it. It was very good.
Yeah. It's sort of an interesting thing because you were bound to sort of come with something uneven if you do it sequentially like the way he did it.
Yeah.
Instead of like planning out the whole thing from the beginning and then just shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's cool. He shot, directed, edited, did all the music. It's like it's crazy. Very talented person.
Sorry,
cat.
she's just been freaking out since I got home. I think she's like afraid I'm gonna leave again.
Like, don't leave.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's Bo Burnham's Inside. It's streaming on Netflix right now, and you should definitely go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely worth a watch. Like, a lot of good stuff in there.
Up for interpretations. Yeah. Cool. What do you got, Zach?
I watched a movie called The Empty Man, directed by David Pryor, which I think it's his first feature. Hold on, let me just pull it up here. Yeah, I think it is. Which is kind of on the surface like a Blumhouse-y type urban legend teen movie thriller horror thing, you know?
Mm.
But it kind of takes that idea to like a weird extreme in terms of like the structure, I guess, and where it goes. And I didn't think it was like great, like definitely didn't accomplish everything it set out to do, but it's really ambitious. I definitely think it's worth watching. It was a fun watch. There were a lot of cool ideas in it. And it was a thing where it's like, definitely we'll see what this guy makes next, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of taking that urban legend thing and making it something, I don't want to spoil anything, but like ancient. Like if like, I don't know, like a Candyman was from like 500 years ago or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
that's
it's interesting. Yeah, and it kind of like it starts with like a 25-minute like vignette set piece that in like Asia. It's just like, whoa, wasn't expecting this. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like it's just kind of crazy and like bloated in a weird way, but like it's interesting because it's dipping into places you wouldn't expect this type of material to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely just like an interesting movie. I had heard about it, and I guess it had been shelved for a few years before the pandemic, and then because the studio like didn't know how to market it, because it's like, I don't know, this is fucking weird, really weird. Like it's like a 2.5 hour long like teen slasher movie. Like what? You know what or not slasher, but more like ghost, you know, type thing. But yeah, it was solid. I enjoyed it. I would say it's worth watching. I think you would dig it.
What year did it come out?
This year.
Oh,
I believe,
okay.
or maybe in the fall of last year. But it was made like
recent,
3 or 4 years ago, I think, and it's just been waiting to get released.
Interesting. What's it called again?
The Empty Man.
The Empty Man. Okay, interesting.
If you're looking for like a good like little like spooky one, it's fun. It's long, but
I like that.
I didn't feel the length. It didn't feel like it was like boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was kind of always like, where's this gonna... Because it goes into so many unexpected like places. The length was kind of just like, well, something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Just like a few really good set pieces too. Yeah, definitely one to check out.
Cool.
It was fun.
Awesome, man. I'll look out for that for sure. Another movie I watched a little bit ago, sort of old news now, I guess, but I watched Army of the Dead.
Oh yeah, I still haven't watched it.
You still haven't watched it?
No.
I thought you'd be watching that right away. Because we talked about it.
Yeah, totally. I missed it like right when it came out, and then ER time took over. There was the countdown on ER, and then I was out of town. You know.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna spoil anything too crazy, but I wasn't a big fan. I was
yeah, heard it was pretty rough.
I was disappointed. I mean, it's not like a shit movie, but it's yeah, it's Zack Snyder, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I would say that it's probably one of his. The bar is really low. I would say it's one of his better films in a while, but that's a really low bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not saying much.
Yeah, it's really not.
Better than Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Woo.
Overall, not great, but it's, you know, I think it's at least maybe worth a watch because there's some entertaining value to it. But overall, didn't think it was great. Also thought it was a terrible idea to have Zack Snyder be the DP because they're like fucking a quarter of the movie is out of focus. It's
you weren't a fan of the like 0.97
fucking
f-stop or whatever,
incredibly shallow focus where it only comes into focus like fucking 6 inches from someone's face. It was too much at times, like it really was. And I mean, this comes from someone who like is familiar with shooting stuff, and it almost drove me crazy. Damn. Speaking of which, what drove me insane throughout the entire movie, and there are articles on this, so I know I'm not the only one. There was a dead pixel throughout the entire fucking movie.
I heard about this. Yeah, one of the cameras that they were using just had
a dead pixel. And in several shots, it would be multiple. It'd be like 2 or 3, you know.
Brutal.
But there was that same one. Yeah, you don't fix that? Like what? What? It's so obvious too because there's just that white little dot, you know, or black dot, depending on what's going on.
It's like I heard, or what were you saying? You can finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, that was basically it. Go ahead.
I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about the dead pixel thing.
Yeah.
And someone's like, I don't know how hard it is to like do that though, blah blah blah. And I was like, it's not hard.
It's not that hard.
Like I know how to do it. You know, it's like a filter. Just like put it on there. Just fill it in. You know what I mean? Just
fill it in, or I mean, you have the money. You know, it's like, yeah, it's time consuming to go through and do that, but I at first I thought it was my TV, so I was like freaking out, right? Yeah. So I'm like, fuck.
Oh my god, what a nightmare! Dead pixel on the TV.
And I was like, it's not moving, and then there was like a sequence of cuts, and then it changed like from no pixel to like several pixels to on the cut, and I was like, well, it's not my TV then. You know what I mean? Like, that's in the edit. So, I was like, whew, relieved. Second of all, now I'm staring at this the whole 2.5 hours. Way too long.
That was the thing that made me not watch it. If it was 90 minutes, I would have watched it by now. I heard it was bad, and then I like pulled it up, and it was 2.5 hours. So I went, no, like I'm not gonna do this.
And you know, we had talked about on the last episode, we were like, we kind of assumed that it would be in his same like universe as Dawn of the Dead or whatever. Completely not, completely new concept, which in a way makes me not like it more, because it's just like, why are you gonna start up like a whole new zombie thing, dude? Like it's so burnt out. It
doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. And then he wants to make more zombie films. It's just like, dude.
Yeah, I heard
we don't need it.
Start of a potential franchise. It's like another thing where it's like, to have a franchise, the first one needs to be good. No one's gonna see number 2 of a movie that was shit. You know what I mean? I feel like people are
Justice League.
Yeah, exactly. No one wants to watch that. It's trash.
Or I'm sorry, Batman vs Superman. Was the first one. That was terrible. Then they decided to make 4 more or whatever. Yeah, it wasn't that great. I was shocked later. I will say the thing I didn't notice, I might have noticed it if I had known beforehand, but Tig Notaro's like CG replacement of Krista Elia. I don't know if you know about this conspiracy.
Because he was in the movie and then he got canceled, right?
He got canceled hardcore, and so they replaced him with Tig, and I didn't notice, but I'm curious to, you know, maybe I'll check it out one day to see if I notice, but I didn't notice at all. So I think that was well done, at least. But they probably spent a ton of fucking money to replace her. I swear they had to have shot new scenes, though, because it was just like, there are scenes where they're straight up walking and I don't know, the way things are shot, I feel like, I don't know, some things have to be reshot. But pretty crazy overall.
That's wild. I mean, they have the budget to replace Chris D'Elia or whatever, but not the budget to clean up some dead pixels.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know. And overall, the characters were very flat. Dave Bautista, pretty charismatic guy normally, and he just had zero personality in this movie. And it was just real disappointing. And I guess the biggest problem I had with the plot was it's sort of about this heist, and the setup is actually very fun. Like, oh, they're gonna do this heist. They're gonna go into Vegas where it's shut down. There's all these zombies. It's walled off. They're gonna go in, steal these millions of dollars. All right, cool. I'm in. And then the premise just becomes way cooler than the actual outcome. And they go in, and it just falls apart, but it just like the whole movie falls apart. It's just, it's
Poopy.
weird.
Should I watch it at all? I'm like still kind of curious, but it's also 2.5 hours, so I've just heard nothing but bad things about it.
It's really long, but I will say that if you find yourself with some time and you're just curious, I mean, check it out, man. Because I honestly would like to hear your opinions on it, and that way you can weigh in as well. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you have some time on your hands, don't go out of your way. Don't go out of your way to see it.
A lot of 2.5 hour movies sitting on my unwatched Blu-ray shelf over there. So we'll see.
I know the feeling, man. I got things lined up. My queues on all of my streaming platforms are like way too long. I just totally. Keep add to the list, and just like never get to them. Just keep adding to the list.
Oh yeah, never ending list.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Army of the Dead. Yeah. What else you
watched, got? The only other movie I've watched was Chain Reaction, which is Andrew Davis movie from 1996. I'm pretty sure it's his follow-up to The Fugitive, his movie after. But yeah, it's got Keanu Reeves, Rachel Weisz, and Morgan Freeman, and it's like they're all scientists working on like a green hydrogen power or something. And I added it because it was shot in Chicago. I like watching movies shot in Chicago. So they're in like
Fugitive's great, man.
Yeah, they're like in Indiana-ish, like industrial area, and the hydrogen thing explodes, and then Keanu gets framed for the explosion. So him and Rachel Weisz are like on the run. And it's a pretty fun movie. Like it's not like amazing, you know.
Yeah.
I like watched it on like a Sunday, like in the day, and it was like I think the Chicago factor earns a lot of points for me. There's like a scene where he's like running down foot chase on Michigan Ave, and he like runs over one of the bridges that's going up, and then there's like a whole set piece like downtown Chicago with him climbing like a vertical bridge, and it was like it's pretty cool. He also Keanu Reeves' apartment is like around the corner from the office that I used to work at.
It's cool.
So it's just like seeing there's a lot of stuff where I was like, I know where that street is. I know where that is. I know where that is. You know?
Yeah, that's fun.
You can you can see like the mid-90s version of all these places you've been. So I like it for that reason a lot. But yeah, it was just a pretty like entertaining fugitive style chase movie where they're just like on the run. Green scientist conspiracy thing. It was fun.
Nice.
Nothing to write home about, but
yeah,
I would say if you like, it's mostly worth watching for the Chicago factor.
So. Good cast too.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Getting to see Keanu Reeves as as a scientist ripping his hog into work.
I recently watched the documentary My Octopus Teacher.
Oh, nice. I heard that was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I thought it was very fascinating because first thing, me personally, I am both terrified and fascinated by the ocean. Like
Totally.
my like real fear that I have, the only real fear that I have, phobia, is like really deep water, like the unknown, thalassophobia. That's like a legit thing that I've come to realize that I have. But I'm also very equally fascinated with sea life, and so this documentary follows this filmmaker from South Africa who he's really into diving. He's like really into like exploring the ocean, always has been. And so he started just like filming himself. He's done other documentaries, but he started like filming himself exploring this one little cove area every day for a year. And he like forges this bond with an octopus that grows, like they grow a bond. It starts to come up to him eventually, and you realize like how intelligent like octopi are. And it's like, I don't know, it's just a really interesting documentary that I don't think exists with any other creature on this level. And it basically follows how he forms this bond, and he maps out this entire like kelp forest and just goes there every day, spends hours there, and you see this process change, and he starts to like know the creatures around. It's just like, it's so mind-boggling that like that can happen, like, because I feel like human society has such a detachment from nature that when you see something like that happen, you begin to realize like they share this planet with us, and they are, there are intelligent creatures out there. I don't know, just a very, very fascinating documentary. I really recommend you check it out.
Hell yeah.
And it's just really well made. This guy like, and then it also follows just like the life cycle, and I don't know, it's very fascinating. Very, if you're into documentaries, I definitely recommend it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, My Octopus Teacher.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm rambling as I'm drinking.
Oh, you're fine.
So you're pretty much out of films then, right?
Yeah, I haven't watched anything else. Watched some Ultraman.
I want to mention just a couple more things real quickly. Speaking of documentaries, there's a 4-part series on HBO called Exterminate All the Brutes, and a friend of mine told me to check it out, and I've watched the first 2 so far.
Nice.
Highly recommend you check this out, dude. It's basically about, it's a black filmmaker who makes a documentary. It's part narration mixed with like archival footage and like narration, archival footage, as well as reenactments, starring Josh Hartnett, actually.
Oh, whoa. Hartnett's back?
He's doing stuff.
Wow.
He plays sort of this white racist slaver, but he does a good job in it. And so it has reenactments too. And basically it's about the history of white supremacy and colonialism throughout history. The confusing thing is it sort of hops around history, but he links like subjects and ideas to different parts in history. So it's not linear, but it's really well made, and it might make your blood boil, but it's really well done.
Nice.
And it links it up even to like Trump and everything, but it goes to ancient times and how religion influenced white supremacy and how that led into Europeans leading over and exterminating the Indians and slavery and all that stuff. And it's really interesting. It's sort of like the side of history that we don't really talk about, and it's like too difficult, to talk about in schools, and it goes against the American narrative,
Yeah, totally.
But it's nice to see like reality, see that part of history as well. So, and yeah, man, it's cool. You should check it out. HBO, Exterminate All the Brutes, 4-part documentary. Highly recommend. Last thing I'll talk about, another HBO thing. My wife and I binged Mayor of Easttown. We started after the finale, and we're like, we should watch this, and we ended up binging it in a couple of nights, and definitely recommend. We're really into like true crime stuff. This isn't true crime; it's a fictional show, but
yeah, it's got that police.
It's got that vibe,
procedural vibe.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's an incredible show. There's some stuff wasn't really crazy about, particularly some of the performances. But if you like murder, mystery, cop shows, HBO always delivers. So I was sold, and definitely worth the watch.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things. I was thinking about starting that soon.
Yeah. It's not that long either. I think it's only 7 or 8. I think it's
Nice.
7 episodes.
I like a brisk show.
Yeah. And it was originally, I've heard that it was a limited, it was intended to be a limited series, but they're talking about doing another season. I don't know if that's happening for sure yet.
The classic move.
Might not happen, but
would you be for it if it happened, or kind of like eh?
Yeah, I'd have to hear the details. I assume it would just be another case, and if that case, if that's the case, then I would I'd be into it.
Nice.
Not if it continued the previous story.
The same characters, yeah.
No, even if it's the same character.
Well, no, I just mean all the same murder mystery side.
Right. If it's if it's the same story, murder mystery, then no. But if it follows the main characters in the same town that just there's another crime, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I was into it. It's good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that. I'm done. That's what I've been watching. I guess we should get into our non-spoiler review.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get Conjuring. Conjuring 3. The Devil Made Me Do It. Starting right now.
Hey! You okay there? Jesus. I think I hurt someone.
This is Ed Warren, here with Lorraine. All right, let's get started.
Residents of Brookfield were shocked this afternoon by the broad daylight murder of Bruno Sauls.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
Whatever is going on, whatever happened that day, that was not Arnie.
It's a witch's totem. We think your family was cursed. And that connection's still open.
That was from the trailer for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the new 2021 film in the Conjuring universe, if you want to say that. And this one, a description from IMDb, says the Warrens investigate a murder that may be linked to a demonic possession. seems like a very similar like sentence plot synopsis for the first movie.
Yeah.
This one is directed by Michael Chaves and stars Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, the ones returning, the main ones. And so I guess first off, let's talk about, because they are creating a Conjuring universe. What are the films you've seen?
I think I've seen all of them except for the last Annabelle.
Oh, really? You've seen more than me then. So you've seen the first Annabelle. Have you seen The Curse of La Llorona? Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think that's the same filmmaker as this.
Yes, same one who directed this one.
Yeah, which I wasn't crazy about that one.
Did you see The Nun?
Yes, also wasn't crazy
really?
about that one. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you've seen more of this than me. I've only seen the main ones. So Conjuring 2, and this one. But I haven't heard great things about those other ones. I am curious to see The Nun, but I don't know, just because I'm curious.
If you're really curious,
well, they've got them all on HBO, so.
Oh, well, that's good.
I gotta finish the Saw series first.
Yeah. No developments on that? More Saws?
I did watch one more that night after we finished the podcast. Nice. I watched was it 4 or 5, one of those. But I haven't watched any since then, so I got to get back on it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so interesting. So I guess, what did you think about the overall thoughts of like the other films and compared to this one, and then your thoughts on general thoughts on this movie?
Well, I thought the first one was like a really great surprise. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the first one. The Annabelle sequels are like fun, goofy, but nothing that I like would revisit,
Yeah.
But like worth like a late night watch. My roommates were also like into like the spooky stuff, so it was like fun to get a group together, watch like a dumb spooky thing,
Yeah.
The Conjuring 2, I wasn't a huge fan of, but I thought had like good moments. I feel like they had good ideas for the scares and the ghosts, but it also felt like it was like 3 movies smashed together in a bowl. There was just like too much going on. It's like, oh, there's like 5 ghosts in this, and like they're all, it's like this ghost feels this way, and that's why this ghost does this. And I was like, okay, there's too many ghosts. Like, let's par it down a little bit, So yeah, I wasn't big on the other sequels either. There's some scary stuff in The Nun, but I think the first one was so good because it was a little more reserved than these ones were, and it was kind of like just doing a haunted house movie, but doing it in like a more modern way.
It's just like a one case thing.
Yeah, and it was like really simple, and like it was just like, yeah, there's just like a scary ghost in a house. Look at that, And I get that you can't just like do that a bunch. You kind of need to switch it up, but the stakes just get a little high in some of the other ones, where like especially the second one, just so much going on that is not necessary.
That's true.
And if they had picked out one of those, it would have been enough for like a whole movie that's like 90 minutes, but instead it's like a really long,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I thought this one was a fun watch, but I didn't love it. It was like entertaining. I wasn't like bored or anything. There were some good moments, but it just I think it did the same thing again that the second one did, where it was just kind of like a little, not necessarily too convoluted, but too big in a way. Like the scares and the tone was like really like sort of like bombastic, crazy,
Yeah, I wasn't Well, let me first talk about, I guess, my opinions. So I only have the Conjuring films to compare it to. I love the first one. I thought that was...
Yeah, it's great.
It's great. The second one, I also enjoyed, but I totally understand where you're coming from. It was a bit all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And here's where I think my opinions fall down for this one is it was a different director. James Wan directed the first two, and I really felt that difference in direction in this. And I think I just wasn't as big of a fan for this one, just because it felt like the director was definitely... You felt that difference, and
absolutely,
I wasn't a big fan of the direction that he did it in. I like some of the more like subtle horror stuff. That's this just had like a lot of jump scares, and jump scares that were like I rolled my eyes because it was just like obvious stuff. It's like, okay, here we go. Here's a jump scare.
Yeah,
it's like very predictable.
Something creepy for like 10 seconds. It's like, it's like, oh, I wonder if anything creepy is gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's not to say that doesn't happen in the others, but it's like not as often and frequent as it is in this. Like, it was like almost back to back, like obvious jump scares in this one. So wasn't a big fan of that, and I don't know. I thought that. I also started to think too, is like this is going too far with the like this sort of immortality, like this immortalization and sensationalization of this real life couple that did stuff.
Yeah, totally.
You know, obviously it's based on a real couple, who, if you do any research, obviously they were just doing stuff to make money. But it's still interesting, and I'm interested in the subjects because, you know, everyone is, because it's partially based on real cases, which only the Conjuring movies are. The Nun movie is all fictional, all the Annabelle stuff is fictional, everything else is fictional. So they went back to the like real life trial for this. Usually a big fan of like demonic possession movies, things that deal with Satanism or like satanic stuff, cults and things like that. But I also thought I wasn't that into it for this one because it felt also like it was feeding into like the satanic panic of the time. And I don't know, that it gets all political for me too, because it's just like that's tied to the church, and there were a lot of things that like weren't true, and they were like, at the time they were calling a lot of things like the result of Satanism and things like that, when today the Church of Satan is like, they're like not even bad. Like they don't even like, for one, they don't believe in the devil, they're just like, they have different values. So I think just times have changed. Since this would have been more scary, now it's sort of just like it's taking up old concepts that have become old, haven't aged well, and I don't know. That was sort of my overall thoughts.
And I think also one thing is that the other ones might be based on these cases, but this is based on like a more like public. Because it was like the trial, and the movie like isn't about that at all, really. They're just like, it's that trial is the motivation for them to start the story, but like even the title, "The Devil Made Me Do It," like doesn't make any sense for like what the movie's actually doing.
That's true.
It was like ending, and I was like, wait, why is it called that? And then I was like, oh yeah, because it's based off this thing, and then that was like the headline or whatever,
right?
Or and it's just like didn't really feel like it tied in that way. So I felt kind of weird about that. It just made it seem like, and I guess it's not spoiler, but just the credits, like having all these like real life photos of like the guy on trial and stuff. It's like, I don't know, with all the shit that happened in this movie, it seems like weird that it's that sensationalized. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
These things were so goofy.
Yeah.
Like, it's a pretty goofy, like, scary movie, and like that can be really fun, but it just almost is like not necessary that it's based off a real thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of
exactly.
I was just like, I don't really get why. You know what I mean? They could have just made up their own thing that was more interesting.
Well, it's because based on a true story makes people interested, like I already admitted, and sells, you know. So they take a very you know, a true story and vaguely base it on truth, you know. Like I did read very vaguely on some of the, well, I guess that goes into spoilers, about the specifics of what's true and what's not. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of this movie. I was a little disappointed because, again, I was like, I liked the first two, and so I was sort of looking forward to this. I didn't have like my bar set too high or anything, but
I mean, they're fun. They're like entertain, and I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't like bored during this one.
I wasn't either.
It just wasn't as fun as the other ones are, and I think it's the scares. I don't know. The scares in the other one are paced out so well, and they like use like the quiet like sound design and also have like clever ideas for them. Like the clapping in the first one, where she claps and the hands come behind her head. It's very scary. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's terrifying. Yeah.
But like, the concepts in this one were just kind of confusing and not that like conceptually scary, but not like scary in the moment. You know what I mean? Like,
it was silly. It was more silly. Like,
just people jumping out and going, ah! You know, it's just like, okay, that was a scary guy that screamed, ah! You know, it's just like,
it kind of felt like a on par of like a haunted house at like Halloween Horror Nights or something. You know, it's just like, he scared you. You know, it's just like, that level of like silliness at points. Not that it like made me laugh or anything. It just like wasn't scary. It was just like you saw the scares coming. They weren't, and then when it happened, they weren't that scary. And
because they're so like built up to and catered to you.
Yeah,
like the soundtrack tells you something's gonna happen. The way they're shooting it tells you something's gonna happen.
Yep.
And then you go, oh, something's gonna happen, and then it happens, and you go, all right. You know what I mean? Like,
that's it. Okay.
It's, I thought I had a thought that I was gonna say. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It just I feel like it just had kind of like a different vibe with the way, and I mean, it makes sense if it's a different director.
I mean, James Wan, he's just
the same way.
James Wan, man, he's a good director, man.
You're a Wan head over there, slamming Saw,
dude. Yeah, like he created the Saw franchise, he created the Conjuring franchise. It's like pretty good track record, dude. And
he did one more too, didn't he? Did
he he did the Insidious as well.
Yeah,
which Insidious is pretty good. I've only seen the first one.
I've only seen like the third one. I've never seen the first Insidious.
Oh, I kind of like the first one.
I should watch it.
It actually goes, not to get too off topic, but it actually goes in that silly direction and embraces sort of like the silliness of like seeing like a demon, and embraces it in a way that I was like, I'm into this, you know.
Nice.
So anyway, that's another topic. But yeah, I really felt the director change in this. Yeah. And like I said, the story of the couple is just, it's getting too much for me. It's just like, who is supposed to be based on real life? I know this as a meta fact, but it's like not realistic at all. And I also started to like feel troubled because I was like, man, the fact that I like any of these at all, because these people were total con artists. And now they're getting like their ultimate desire of like being sensationalized and reaping money. And it's just like, I don't know, it became a more complicated thing. But And then the satanic panic thing too is just like, all right, well that's just stupid. That just feeds into things that aren't.
And it's like, it's one thing if you're framing that as part of the story, but another thing that I thought was kind of weird, I was like, this is like a period movie, right? And it definitely did not feel like it. It felt like
that's a good
it
point.
felt like people like had costumes on the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? It didn't feel like a period movie at all. Which I thought was weird. Because the other ones do. At least the first one I remember feeling like that, and like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, the other ones definitely feel like. Well, I know this one's like close. You know, it's not 60s, 70s like the other ones where it's like closer to the 80s. But that's still a period, and I didn't feel that at all. You know.
No.
And then you see the real life. Then you see the. Sorry to cut you off, but
you're fine.
Then you see the real life photos at the end, and you're like, that feels old, you know? Like,
yeah.
Those hairstyles are definitely old, you know?
Yeah, and they try to, like, inject, like, there's some, like, 80s, like, soundtrack choices and stuff that just kind of felt out of place, and I don't know, there were some concepts in it that I think on paper were scary, like the concept of being, like, in, like, a jail room and being like scared that like a demon's gonna possess you and all you can do is like sit in the corner awake is scary. But, like, why isn't it scary when I'm watching it? You know what I mean?
And I did like the altar set. Oh wow. Oh shit. That's a spoiler. Cut that out. Let's move into spoilers.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say non-spoiler.
Okay. Well, overall, I don't think we were huge fans of it. But if you like the other Conjuring movies, you can check it out. It's HBO
it's
Max.
It's not like a waste of time. I wasn't like pissed, but it just was left a lot to be desired. It's not on the same level as the previous ones.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well,
before you get into our spoiler segment, I'd like to interject to discuss that special deal from our sponsor again. For the listeners of the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast, Audible is offering a free audio book download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To download your free audio book today, go to audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Again, that's audibletrial.com/LTURAM for your free audio book.
Something terrible happened here.
A master Satanist is not an adversary to be taken lightly.
She's doing it again. She's reaching out to the darkness.
Lorraine, you need to come back. Is saving him worth everything you have? Because that's what it may very well cost.
Lorraine!
all right, we're now in spoilers for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. What I was gonna say before, I liked the satanic altar kind of setup, and the idea that this guy has like this underground library of occult Satan books and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that? Because I want to go and explore that shit.
Yeah,
that sounds fascinating. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool, but that's about the only part that I really liked in spoilers, I guess.
One thing that I thought was really weird and kind of dumb was like, okay, so there's a person behind this, which I also think makes it less scary in terms of these movies. But there's a person behind this whose motivation
who's cursing
is to curse random people she finds to kill 2 people. It just is like a very low
well, they talked about
goal.
They talked about how she had to curse 3 people to like succeed on her rite that she was doing. Some sort of rite that she was doing. So like she had to curse 3 people.
Yeah, I just didn't really
and
to do it.
It wasn't very clear what her end goal was though with that. Yeah,
I don't really get. It's like I gotta curse 3 people so I can kill 6 people. You know, it's just like I don't really get like why. It just seemed like such a low stakes thing. Like usually with ghost movies, it's like they're in the house, like they just want to fuck with you. You know what I mean? But when there was a person behind it, like motivation matters more because it's not just like I'm a weird ethereal force that is scary. It's just like a lot of intention that this person has to do, and it's like I have no idea why she targeted the main guy. Like I don't get it. And it's also it transfers from the little boy, which she targets, to the brother, but the brother, there's like photos of the brother at the altar, so it's like it wasn't that like not part of the plan.
I think maybe the idea is like, oh, she like got a sense that the thing traveled to him or something. I don't know, not clear at all. But I did
very confusing motivations.
Yeah, it just sort of why did she? Oh, because she like she read these books and this priest's like underground thing, which I totally would fucking do, and was like, oh, but I'm actually evil, and then murders him.
Yeah,
he kills her like father.
Yeah, she just like immediately slits his throat. It's like
because she's so evil, I guess, that she like and had to call on the power of Satan. It's stupid.
Yeah. Also about that scene, she's a human, but in that scene she like scuttles through like the darkness, you know, and it's in a half second behind him and slits his throat. And the Vera Farmiga's like 1 minute. She's like around the corner. It's like, why doesn't she do her little like little like demon scuttle and just immediately stab Vera Farmiga like 20? You know what I mean?
I know.
She kills him so easily, and then she's like, Vera Farmiga's in my secret tunnels. This is gonna be a tough one. Just fucking run up and murder her. Like I don't get why.
Yeah.
I don't know. That didn't make sense to me.
It was also. I totally thought, I guess they did subvert my expectations on one thing, which is I totally thought the ex-priest guy was like in on it.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he wasn't. He knew that his daughter was.
Yeah, but he was like.
He was not.
Daughter.
Yeah.
Another really weird thing was why, like, did Patrick Wilson like actually have a medical condition where he like couldn't do these things? Because that was just the most unnecessary. Like, did they slow him down just so he like can't do stuff as like a plot device? Or
yes and no. Apparently he did have some sort of well, I guess they were trying to introduce it because he died of a heart attack.
Oh,
and that the actual guy was starting to have like medical issues like later on in life. Mm-hmm. So they used that as a plot device to do that for him. Yeah. So it's partially based on truth, but you know, he wasn't like running around a fucking satanic basement with a cane in real life.
It just felt really silly.
Yeah.
Like I was like, is he gonna die? Because I don't know why they're doing this. You know what I mean? Is it like a weird thing just so Vera Farmiga can like do more stuff like alone? Because he's like, I'm slow, like don't just go on without me, you know?
I do like them as a couple. You know, I think they've been great, but it felt just like I said, I don't know how else to describe it, but it just felt I don't know, so Hollywood in this one, because I know that the couple obviously doesn't look like actors like them, for one.
Yeah.
And second of all, that they weren't doing these things, and they're clearly sensationalizing a true story. And I don't know. I started to feel weird about it. I don't know. It hit me weird.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
It's just a movie, but I don't know why it like affected me in this one.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they are like,
it just got so big. It's like
yeah,
the scares weren't like a creepy kid going hee 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 and like running across the basement and being like, ah, you know what I mean? It was like it was like a woman screaming, and then he's like running around with a sledgehammer like ah, ah! And like all the it's just like so heightened, you know.
Oh,
like,
and big too,
was at 11.
Yeah, big too. Like even like where there was the possession stuff, and they're like in the hospital, right? Or it was some public building, and the windows are like whoosh, shattering. Oh, it was at the psychiatric hospital.
Yeah,
and they were like, there was like hurricane force winds and like glass going. It's like that just seems too big for like the setting, you know, like or like why. I don't know, it just didn't fit. It's just like
he like his body
clearly
grows,
fake.
It like stretches and he's like really big, and then it ends and he falls on the ground and he's just like not big anymore. And I was really hoping that he was gonna be big for the
just stretched out.
But like things like that where it's like, why even make that happen?
Yeah.
It just immediately goes away. Like, why even do that? Some of the like bone cracking, like weird contortions were scary. Mainly more in the beginning, like the ones with the kid where the kid like rolls over himself.
There's some cool stuff with the kid.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff with the kid.
Yeah, they totally squandered the waterbed. I was like excited. I was like, whoa, waterbed horror, like let's get it going, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just like one scene, and it's like seeing the face in the waterbed, scary.
That was probably one of the scariest moments. Yeah. Like I was like, when that happened, I was like, oh, this is actually a really interesting idea. Like this is actually a scary concept. Like a body trapped in the waterbed. Never thought of that before. That's scary.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I was like, that's terrifying.
But then they just have to have like a zombie hand come out, and immediately
it's
like, ah! Ah! And it's just like everyone screaming, freaking out, and it's just like not scary anymore. Like if the face just came up and the kid didn't even see it, that's scary. You know what I mean? Like,
and now that we're talking about it, there's no like explanation for like. So it's like, oh, he's being cursed. He's being cursed to be possessed, but you've already summoned the demon. So like, it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Like,
I have no idea about
the
like motivations. Of
what
anything.
are you? So you're summoning a demon on the kid so he can be possessed, but then like the way it plays out, it's like. He's not already possessed. He just starts seeing weird things, but they're actually happening, right? The waterbed exploded and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just like it just doesn't add up. It's just weird.
No
stuff that just
it's like okay, you summon a demon that shows up and looks like them, but that's the demon you're summoning because you are indebted to a demon, so you have to summon them to possess a guy to kill someone random and then kill himself.
And you're setting like little totems in places. Some are new, some have been there for years. So how long has this plan been going on? What are you trying to accomplish by doing that? And then the whole like devil made me do it. Is it just like several demons attacking people, or is it the devil? You know, is it the devil doing this?
Yeah.
Not clear at all.
It's kind of
for
weird
like the real life case.
Mention of the devil in the title of your movie, and then just like it's not really part of it.
They don't even like talk about the devil.
Yeah, it's weird.
There's just like there's demons or whatever.
Yeah. And I also didn't pick up on the fact that the like demon looks like who it's like attacking or whatever until like the end of the movie. I was like, why do? Because like the demon, when it shows up, it's the person that it's fucking with.
Yeah, it's possessed them, right?
No, but like you also see it, like at the end when it kills the villain woman, it is the woman, and it like walks up and takes the body.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like in the hospital, the kid freaks out and backs up into the darkness, and then it's him, and then
right.
Vera Farmiga's getting chased, and it's her. But like it was so obscured, the one in the hospital the first time after he's there, like did not look like him. So I was just like, okay, that's what the monster looks like.
Yeah.
And then later in the movie, I'm like, wait, why does it look like her? And then at the end, it shows up and it's the woman, and I was like, why does it look like the woman? And then I was watching it with someone, and they're like, oh, well, it looks like the people that it's attacking or whatever. And I was like, well, I did not pick up on that like until the final time you see it. You know what I mean? And that's like, it's pretty flawed if you don't pick up on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that either. I was sort of confused about like what the motivations were and what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I knew what was going on, but it was just like the minutia, the minutia of the details.
Yeah.
Was
it was so plot heavy. It's just a lot of them like talking exposition, and then there's that random guy that's like helping them do research. And I was like, well, is this going to be the bad guy? Because there's literally no reason he's in the movie except for to like take off some exposition burden from the main characters, and then he's just not. And it's just like, where the fuck is that guy in this movie? He literally like shows them the book. He's like, hey, I found the page that tells us everything we need to know. And they're like, sick. And then he's like, oh yeah, those flowers came. I accepted a random delivery of flowers. That's like, that's the only reason the guy's in the movie. It makes no sense.
It's so weird. Also, the whole scene where there's like the cliff, which like, was
some
like
rough compositing,
and just like such like a Hollywood film moment to place into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I don't know. That's when it started losing me. I know it's in the trailer, but it's like that's why that scene was made.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I don't know. I was getting really annoyed at that point.
Yeah, Vera Farmiga. It also seems like they like want you to like really like these characters, but they're like doing no work to like make them more interesting than they already are. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And it's just like she just like knows everything.
Yeah.
And it's just her like envisions like, oh, whoa, oh, like I'm in the vision. You know what I mean? Like the whole movie, and it's like, I don't know, like
there's no exploration of their characters anymore. Yeah. There was in the second one. I'll give it that. Like I feel like there was some real exploration.
Too deep, and like there was the whole drama because it's after him, and
it almost becomes a love story. I don't know. It does become too much, but I think I do respect it for like that because it really dived into the characters, and that's sort of the difference for me between the two. Is like, it's hard to explain because I know that they're based on real people and their characters, but I feel like they became their own characters in the first and second movie. And the third movie, it really just felt like the shell of like a sensationalized real life couple to me. It didn't have that same like fictional depth that I was like that was acceptable before. I don't know. I'm kind of going all over the place, but if that makes any sense.
It was almost like they just went, oh yeah, it's their movie, so they're just in it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, it's done. Everyone knows who they are. Why would we tell you? You know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't know, because they're like also the stars of the movie. They're supposed to be carrying this franchise, you know? Yeah. And, yeah.
They weren't interesting at all.
Yeah,
they were just
not
like,
very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I think that pretty much wraps up my thoughts.
I don't have much else. I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like weird, complicated feelings on this movie, but overall, I was overall not like a big fan of it. What are you gonna rate it?
Probably like 2.5.
That's exactly what I was thinking. 2.5.
I feel like it was entertaining enough, but the second I was confused, and then the second you think about it, it's just like, oh yeah, that just like made no sense.
Yeah.
And it didn't even have the scares really to like make it that fun. Like I wasn't like rattling in my bed when I was going to sleep, but like the second one even was like spooky.
Yeah.
Like, ah! You know, it's like, oh my god, like it has the vibe. There was no vibe.
There's no vibe. There's no vibe.
And it also felt like it was a lot longer and they cut it down. I guess that was the one thing I forgot to mention. I felt like the first like 40 minutes was so fast.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fell into a groove. But I was like, whoa, it's like scary scene, talk scene, scary scene, talking scene, scary scene, talking scene.
Yep.
It's just like, oh my god, something happened. Oh my god, he's going to prison. Oh my god, something scary happened at prison. You know what I mean? Oh, here's a flashback. And I was like, oh, is the whole movie going to be a flashback, like, leading up to that point? And then one scary scene happens, and then the flashback's just over. It's like, oh, they just, like, needed to have that scary scene.
Yeah, it was very, very strangely edited together. And
yeah.
The way it was written, too. I don't know. Very weird.
It felt cut down.
It felt cut down, yet long. It felt long.
Yeah, but still too long, for sure.
Felt too long.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I agree. 2.5. If you're a fan of the Conjuring movies, I mean, you gotta watch it. But I wouldn't go out of your way to like watch this. I don't know. We'll see. I wonder what this holds for the future of the franchise. You know, if they're gonna do any more. I'm kind of okay if they don't do like the main couple anymore.
Yeah.
I think I'm over it. I think they should just end the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably. Because you're not really... Once you hit 3, that's tough. You know. What are there going to be, 4?
And they've been expanding this other fictionalized universe around it, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just need... They need the Wani baby to get in there. If they want any more, you know.
Bring James Wan back. And then I'll be interested. Okay, well, that's going to conclude it. As always, you can find other episodes of this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and most major podcast platforms.
Follow us on Instagram, and if you enjoy the show, please consider leaving a review on iTunes, because every rating brings us more listeners. You can email us at listenersrantaboutmovies@gmail.com.
You too can be a producer and or supporter of this podcast by visiting our Patreon page and becoming a monthly patron for as little as $1. Visit www.patreon.com/LTURAM podcast.
All right. That was a good episode, Zach.
Yeah. Fun
good
chatting.
Talk. Fun chatting. And, well, till next time.
Yeah, till next time.
Thanks for listening to this Listen to Us Roundabout Movies podcast episode. Goodbye, and I will see you again on the next show.